My mother always said that fairness mattered more than anything. She repeated it so often that eventually I believed it. Emily Carter, because you are my daughter, you must be even more careful than everyone else. Those words followed me through every year at university. I thought they meant she loved me enough to hold me to a higher standard. I was wrong. On a cold Tuesday morning at King's College London, the university organized a large charity blood donation event. Students gathered outside the medical support van near the courtyard, laughing, taking photos, and proudly posting about helping others. My mother, Victoria Carter, was standing beside the organizers. She was the head of the faculty, respected, elegant, the kind of person everyone admired. She looked at me when I approached. Her expression immediately became serious. "Emily, you're here." I nodded. "Yes, Mom?" She glanced at the students around us before lowering her voice. "Remember what I told you. No special treatment." I froze slightly. "Mom, you know I have severe anemia." Her face tightened. "Everyone knows you always have an excuse." My chest hurt, not because of the words, because she said them so easily. "I brought my medical documents," I whispered. She didn't even look at them. "Emily, do you know how many people are watching me? If my own daughter refuses to participate, what will people think?" I stared at her. "I physically can't donate." She sighed like I had disappointed her again. "You're 20 years old. You're not a child anymore. Stop acting fragile." The nurse standing beside the table smiled. Her name was Olivia Bennett. I remembered her from campus. Everyone liked her. She was cheerful, friendly, and always knew exactly what to say. "Don't worry, Professor Carter," Olivia said softly. "I'll make sure everything goes smoothly." My mother nodded. "Thank you, Olivia. At least some students understand responsibility." Something inside me sank. I sat down. Not because I wanted to, because I still hoped my mother would eventually see that I was struggling. The needle entered my arm. The first few minutes were fine. Then my fingers became cold. My vision started fading. I looked at Olivia. "Can we stop?" She looked at the bag. "Only 100 milliliters." "I feel dizzy." She laughed quietly. "Emily, everyone feels nervous the first time." "No, I really don't feel well." Her smile disappeared. The students waiting behind me started watching. Olivia leaned closer. "Do you know how many people donated today? 400 milliliters? Nobody is making a scene." I reached toward the needle. "I need to stop." Her hand suddenly grabbed my wrist. "Don't move." I looked at her in shock. "Let go." She lowered her voice. "You're Professor Carter's daughter. Don't embarrass her." My mother's words echoed in my head. No special treatment, no excuses. Be responsible. The room started spinning. "Mom," I looked toward her. She was standing there, watching, waiting for me to continue, not worried, disappointed. "Emily," she said coldly, "don't make this about you." My heartbeat became louder. "I can't." The students around me became silent. Someone whispered, "Isn't she the professor's daughter?" Another voice answered, "Maybe she's just trying to avoid donating." My vision blurred. I wanted to explain. I wanted to tell them that my body was failing, that I wasn't scared, that I wasn't pretending. But my mouth wouldn't work. The last thing I saw was my mother's disappointed face. Then everything went dark. When I opened my eyes, I was standing above the room. At first, I thought I was dreaming. Then I saw myself. My own body was lying in the chair. The blood bag was still attached. The needle was still in my arm. I screamed, but no sound came out. I was dead. I floated there, unable to understand. Olivia looked down at my body. She frowned. Seriously? She shook my shoulder. Emily, stop pretending. Pretending? I stared at her. I wanted to scream. I was not pretending. I was gone. My mother walked closer. Her expression remained cold. She always does this. Olivia looked at her. Professor Carter, maybe we should stop. My mother's eyes narrowed. Absolutely not. A wave of disbelief went through me. Mom, she couldn't hear me. She needs to learn that the world doesn't adjust for her. Olivia hesitated. But if something happens, my mother interrupted. Nothing will happen. Those words destroyed me because they sounded exactly like something she had said my whole life. Nothing will happen until something did. The paramedics would later say my condition had been obvious, my anemia, my low iron levels, my medical history. Everything was recorded. Everything was known, but nobody listened because everyone believed the story they wanted to believe. The professor's spoiled daughter. The girl who wanted special treatment. The girl who was too weak. The girl who was pretending. Olivia removed the needle. Then she looked at my mother. You know, I always admired you. My mother looked surprised. Why? Because you were so fair, even with your own daughter. I watched my mother's expression soften. That hurt more than anything, because I remembered when she wasn't like this. When I was little, she stayed awake all night when I had fevers. When I couldn't eat, she learned nutrition and cooked special meals. When doctors said I was weak, she fought everyone who doubted me. She loved me once. I knew that. But somewhere along the way, she started loving being seen as a good mother more than actually being one. And I was the price. My soul drifted higher. I watched my body being moved. I watched students whisper. I watched Olivia tell everyone I had fainted because I was dramatic. And I watched my mother believe her. Then I heard the words that finally broke whatever was left of me. Emily Carter, my mother said, while looking at my lifeless body. You always know how to embarrass me. I closed my eyes. The first time I died, I was still hoping she would choose me. I was wrong. After my death, the world continued. That was the strangest part. I thought everything would stop. I thought the university would become silent. I thought my mother would finally understand. But people still walked across the courtyard. Students still laughed. Lectures still happened. The world did not care that I was gone. Only my soul remained behind, trapped between memories and reality. For 3 days, I followed my mother. I watched her return to her office at King's College London. I watched her sit behind her expensive wooden desk. I watched people come in and praise her. Professor Carter, the blood donation event was a huge success. Students really respect your leadership. You are such a responsible mother and academic. Every compliment seemed to hurt her, less than my death should have. Then Olivia entered. She carried a folder. Professor Carter, these are the donation records. My mother looked up. Everything completed? Olivia smiled. Yes, Emily donated the full amount. I stared at her. My soul trembled. A lie. A complete lie. My mother picked up the document. The line beside my name showed 400 milliliters donated. She nodded. Good. Good. That was all. Not, is Emily okay? Where is she? Why hasn't she come back? Just good. Olivia hesitated. Professor Carter. What? Emily is still outside. My mother's expression changed slightly. Still? Yes. Olivia lowered her eyes. She refuses to move. A cold smile appeared on my mother's face. She's still doing this? I couldn't believe it. Even now. Even after seeing my body collapse. She thought I was acting. She always wants attention, my mother said. Olivia immediately agreed. I tried helping her, but she pushed me away. My eyes widened. What? I never touched her. I was dead. But Olivia continued. She said, unless you personally apologized, she wouldn't get up. My mother's face became angry. Emily said that? Olivia nodded sadly. I didn't want to tell you because I know how much you care about her. That sentence almost made me laugh. Almost. Because the truth was too painful. My mother believed her. Of course she did. She wanted to believe the version where she was the victim, where I was selfish, where she was the reasonable one. The dean entered the office. His face was uncomfortable. Professor Carter, should we check on your daughter? My mother didn't even look worried. She is fine. Are you sure? She has always been dramatic. The dean frowned. She has a medical condition. My mother's voice became colder, and she also knows exactly how to manipulate people. I floated beside her. My entire existence was screaming, but nobody heard. The dean sighed. I hope you're right. He left. I followed him outside. My body was still lying near the donation van. The sun had moved. Students passed by. Some looked concerned. Some looked away. Nobody knew what to do, because everyone had already decided who I was. The weak girl, the difficult daughter, the person who deserved criticism. A student stopped near my body. Shouldn't someone call an ambulance? Another student answered, Didn't the nurse say she was pretending? That sentence spread like poison. Soon everyone believed it. Olivia walked past them. She shook her head. I tried helping her. The students looked at her. Really, she sighed. She can be difficult. The sympathy immediately moved from me to her. I watched silently. This was how easily people change sides, not because they knew the truth, because they preferred a simpler story. That evening, the campus became quiet. The blood donation event ended. Students went back to their dorms. The cleaners removed the chairs. The donation van left. But my body remained. Nobody came. Nobody checked. Nobody noticed. Until, finally, someone did. A group of students walked past the courtyard. One girl stopped. Wait. Her voice shook. Why is she still there? The others turned. One boy approached slowly. Emily? No response. He touched my shoulder, then immediately pulled his hand back. She's freezing. The girl covered her mouth. No. They looked at each other. Fear appeared. Not because they suddenly cared, because they realized something. They might have been wrong. The boy grabbed his phone. I'm calling emergency services. At that exact moment, my mother's office door opened. She walked out. She had finally decided to check, but not because she was worried, because she was angry. Emily, enough. She stepped into the courtyard. Then she stopped. Her face changed. For the first time, she saw reality. Not the story, not the rumors, not the excuses. Reality. My body was lying there, still, silent, cold. The student stepped away. The dean arrived behind her. Professor Carter. My mother didn't answer. She walked closer, slowly, like she was afraid. Emily? Nothing. Her voice became weaker. Emily, stop this. Still nothing. The ambulance sirens became louder, and suddenly, the woman who always believed she controlled everything looked completely powerless. The paramedic arrived. They checked me. The silence afterward was unbearable. Finally, one of them looked up. Who is the family member? My mother stepped forward. I am her mother. The paramedic's expression changed. How long has she been like this? My mother opened her mouth. No answer. Because she knew. She knew exactly how long. The paramedic looked at the blood donation equipment, then at my arm, then at the documents. His expression became serious. She should never have donated. My mother's face went pale. What? Her condition was recorded. The words hit her. Recorded. Known. Ignored. The same truth I had tried to tell her. The same truth she refused to hear. The paramedic looked at her. Did anyone force her to participate? My mother froze. No. A lie. A small one. But everyone heard it. The dean looked away. Olivia lowered her head. And I realized something. They were all afraid. Not of losing me. Of losing what they had built around themselves. My mother finally looked at my face. Really looked. And for the first time, she saw her daughter. Not a reputation. Not a responsibility. Not a problem. Me. Her lips trembled. Emily. I floated beside her, waiting for the apology, for the regret, for anything. But the first words she whispered were, "What will happen to my position?" My soul went silent, even in the moment she lost me. She was still thinking about herself, and that was when I understood. My death would never be enough to make her change. So maybe she needed to lose everything else. The days after my death became a nightmare for everyone, but not immediately. At first, my mother tried to control the story. She always had. A person like Victoria Carter did not survive by admitting mistakes. She survived by managing what people believed. The university released a statement. An unfortunate medical incident occurred during a voluntary student charity event. Voluntary. That word appeared everywhere. On the website, in emails, on social media. But I knew the truth. I had not been given a choice. My mother had turned my medical condition into a test of loyalty. And I failed. Because I chose to stay alive. The investigation began quietly. The university wanted to avoid attention. The blood donation organization wanted to protect its reputation. Everyone wanted the same thing. Silence. But silence became impossible when the students started talking, especially after one student uploaded a message online. I was there. Emily Carter wasn't pretending. The post spread quickly. Another student replied, "I thought she was acting too, but something felt wrong." Then more messages appeared. I heard her ask to stop. The nurse grabbed her. Professor Carter knew Emily was anemic. The story began changing. The same people who called me selfish started questioning why I had been ignored. My mother saw everything. I followed her that night. She sat alone in her office. The lights were off. The city of London shined outside the window. For the first time, she looked old. Not powerful, not respected. Just tired. Her phone kept ringing. She ignored every call. Then suddenly, she opened a drawer. Inside was an old notebook. My notebook. No, not mine. Hers. The nutrition notebook she created when I was born. I remembered it. She wrote everything in it. Every meal, every medicine, every doctor's recommendation, every small detail. When I was 5, I had a serious fever. She stayed awake for 3 nights. When I couldn't eat properly, she researched recipes. When doctors warned that my health would always be fragile, she cried, but she never gave up. Back then, she was my mother. Now, she was someone I barely recognized. She opened the notebook, her fingers touched the pages. "Emily," her voice broke. I knew. I floated closer. My heart, even though I no longer had one, felt pain. I knew everything. She turned the page. There were my medical records written in her handwriting. Low iron, chronic anemia, risk of exhaustion, need for monitoring. She knew. She knew all of it. And she still let them continue. A tear fell onto the page. I thought. She stopped. I thought you were just trying to make things difficult. The room was silent. Then she whispered, how did I become someone who didn't believe my own daughter? For a moment, I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. Because I remembered the mother who carried me when I was sick, the mother who kissed my forehead, the mother who promised nobody would ever hurt me. But that woman disappeared slowly, and she allowed it. The next morning, Olivia came to see her. She entered nervously. Professor Carter. My mother looked up. For the first time, there was no warmth between them, only suspicion. What do you want? Olivia looked uncomfortable. I wanted to explain. Explain what? Olivia swallowed. I didn't know Emily's condition was that serious. A lie. A weak one. My mother stared at her. You read the documents. Olivia froze. What? The medical certificate, you saw it. Silence. Then Olivia's expression changed. The sweet, innocent face disappeared. You think this is all my fault? My mother said nothing. Olivia stepped closer. You were the one who wanted her to donate. I wanted her to follow the rules. No. Olivia laughed bitterly. You wanted everyone to see you were fair. The words hit harder because they were true. My mother looked away. You said she was pretending. You believed me. You held her down. You watched. The room became silent. I floated between them. Watching two people who had destroyed me finally realize they were responsible. Olivia's eyes became cold. You know what's funny? My mother looked at her. What? Everyone thinks you sacrificed your daughter for fairness. She smiled. But the truth is, she pointed at my mother's desk. You sacrificed her because you were afraid. My mother's face changed. Afraid. That was the word. Not fairness, not responsibility, fear. Fear of rumors. Fear of people saying she favored me. Fear of losing the image she spent years creating. That fear killed me. A knock interrupted them. The dean entered. His expression was serious. Professor Carter. My mother stood. What now? He placed a folder on the desk. The review committee needs your statement. She looked at the folder. What statement? The one explaining why your daughter was allowed to donate despite medical restrictions. Her face went pale. I didn't force her. The dean looked at her. Nobody believed that anymore. We have witnesses. Silence. Multiple students heard Emily ask to stop. Olivia's actions are also being investigated. And your messages encouraging participation have been recovered. My mother's breathing became uneven. Messages. Of course, everything was saved. Every word, every decision, every moment she chose her image over me. The dean left. My mother remained sitting there. Then she opened her phone. She searched my name. For the first time, she saw what everyone else saw. The comments, the questions, the accusations. How could a mother ignore this? Professor Carter should have protected her daughter. Emily trusted the wrong people. My mother closed her eyes because the world finally saw the thing she had spent years hiding. Not that she was unfair, not that she made mistakes, that she failed me. The funeral was held 2 weeks later. I stood beside everyone, watching. My mother looked completely different. She wore black, she held my photo, and everyone whispered. Not about her achievements, not about her position, about me, the daughter she lost, the daughter she refused to listen to. When people left, my mother stayed. She stood in front of my grave alone. I'm sorry. The words came quietly. Too late. I'm sorry, Emily. I wanted to believe her. I really did. But apologies are strange. Sometimes they arrive exactly when they are supposed to. And sometimes they arrive after the person who needed them is already gone. She placed the old notebook beside my flowers. I should have protected you. I looked at her. For the first time, she finally understood. But understanding after destruction does not rebuild anything. Then something impossible happened. The world went dark. A strange feeling surrounded me, like falling, like waking, like being pulled somewhere I couldn't see. And then I opened my eyes. I was lying in my university dorm room. My heart was beating, my lungs were breathing, my hands were shaking. I looked at my arm. No needle marks, no bruises, no blood. My phone was on the pillow. The screen lit up. A message from my mother. Emily, be at the blood donation event by 9 o'clock. Don't embarrass me. I stared at the words. The same day. The same message. The same beginning. But this time, I remembered everything. I remembered dying. I remembered her choosing her reputation. I remembered Olivia. I remembered every person who watched me fall. And this time, I wouldn't beg anyone to believe me because I already knew the truth. They were about to learn it too. For several minutes, I just sat there, alive, breathing, listening to the sound of my own heartbeat. In my first life, I had spent my final moments wishing for one thing, for my mother to believe me. Now, I had been given something else, a second chance, but not to fix our relationship, not to make her love me again. This time, I would make sure nobody could rewrite the truth. I got out of bed. My hands were shaking, but my mind was clear. The first thing I did was call my doctor, the same clinic that had treated my anemia for years. When the nurse answered, my voice almost broke. I need a medical confirmation letter. She recognized my name. Emily Carter? Yes. Are you feeling unwell? I looked at my arm, the same arm where the needle had been forced into my vein in another life. I'm about to be put under pressure to donate blood. The nurse became serious. Do you have a medical exemption? Yes. Send us your details. We'll prepare everything. 20 minutes later, I had everything. My diagnosis, my previous blood test results, my doctor's recommendation, a clear statement. Emily Carter is not medically suitable for blood donation without specialist approval. I looked at the document. In my first life, this piece of paper would have saved me if someone had listened. But nobody did. So, this time, I would make sure everyone heard. I opened my laptop. Then I started collecting everything. My scholarship records, my competition results, emails, messages, anything connected to my mother's decisions. Because my death was not just about blood. It was about years of being sacrificed so she could prove she was fair. The national scholarship. First place. My name. But the final recipient? Someone else. The reason? My mother was the faculty director. She claimed giving it to me would look suspicious. The research opportunity, my project ranked first. But another student was chosen. Again, because my mother wanted to avoid accusations of favoritism. Every time I accepted it, every time I told myself she was doing the right thing, I was wrong. She wasn't protecting fairness, she was protecting herself. I found an old email from my mother. Emily, you need to understand. Sometimes personal sacrifice is necessary. I stared at the sentence. Personal sacrifice. She always had a beautiful way of making my pain sound noble. I saved everything. Then I scheduled emails, one to the dean, one to student affairs, one to the hospital ethics department, one to the blood donation organization, one to the student journalism group. I attached the documents, then I wrote, if I am forced to participate in blood donation despite medical exemption, please review immediately. I didn't send them. Not yet. Timing mattered. In my first life, I had reacted. I begged, I explained, I cried. This time, I would let them reveal themselves. At 8:45, I arrived at the university courtyard. Everything looked exactly the same. The red donation banner, the students waiting, the medical van, the smell of disinfectant, and there she was, Olivia Bennett, smiling, friendly, pretending. When she saw me, her expression brightened. "Emily, you're here." I smiled back. "Yes." My mother stood nearby. Victoria Carter, perfect posture, perfect image, perfect reputation. She looked at me. "There you are." I walked toward her. "I brought something." I handed Olivia my medical certificate. She glanced at it, only for a second. Then she placed it on the table. "This is unnecessary." I looked at her. "Unnecessary?" She smiled. "You know how these events work. Everyone has excuses." My mother heard. "Emily." Her voice carried warning. "Don't start." I turned toward her. "Start what?" "Creating drama." The students nearby became quieter. "Good. Let them hear." "Mom, I have medical proof that I can't donate." Her expression hardened. "You always make things complicated." "I am asking for a medical exemption." "No." The answer came instantly. Not concern, not discussion. "No." "You are my daughter." She looked around. "People are watching." There it was. Again, not me, them. I took out my phone. The recording started. "Are you saying that even with medical documentation, you still expect me to donate?" A few students turned. My mother noticed. Her expression changed. "Don't twist my words. I'm just asking." "You know exactly what I'm saying." Olivia crossed her arms. "Emily, it's only 400 milliliters." I looked at her. "In my condition, it isn't." She laughed. "Everyone says that." The same words, the same cruelty, different life. This time, I was ready. A student nearby whispered, "Isn't she the professor's daughter?" Another answered, "Yeah, maybe she doesn't want special treatment." I almost smiled. They were already choosing sides, but they didn't know the ending. "Olivia,